Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about that little girl right there who has a smile that is so bright, and she is such a beautiful little girl, and her life was tragically cut short because of something that I talk about all the time. That is physical violence against children. And I always ask people, don't put your hands, feet, or other objects on these kids. That is not a good way to discipline children. I believe in the power of the mind. I believe in you guys. I believe in everybody that listens to my channel that we are strong enough and we are smart enough mentally to be able to raise our children without raising a hand to our children. Hopefully everybody understands where I'm coming from. A D-land mother, which is spelled D-E-L-A-N-D, I've never even heard of that place. A D-land mother was charged Friday with aggravated manslaughter in the beating death of her 7-year-old daughter. She beat this 7-year-old girl to death. The mother's name, let me get her face on the screen so you can know who we're dealing with here, because we got some screenshots. This creature right here that looks like she was like somebody gave birth to her inside of a tree, like she crawled out of the goddamn thing. I mean, I try not to bag on people's looks, but damn. I mean, all in the eyes and man, that mom is in bad shape, and she looks like she's about 46. No, that mother is 26 years old. It looks like it's been a hard knock life. Look at her face. Does it not? 26 years old with those thick bags around her eyes. Her name is Janee Dickson. I could be pronouncing her name wrong, but who cares? She killed a kid. I could give a fuck how to pronounce her name correctly. Janee, Janee or Janee, whatever. Janee Dickson is in custody in Mecklenburg County pending extradition to Volusia County. Volusia, how crazy is that? According to a statement released by Volusia County Sheriff's Office, Volusia Sheriff's detectives started investigating in this case back in March 6th of 2018. Take a note. We'll come back to that. After her daughter, the little girl, and we're going to talk about him a lot here in a little bit. The little girl's name, her name right there is Kamiya, K-A-M-I-A, Jean-Baptiste. She was 7 years old, and I love that name, Kamiya. I remember I had a girl that I had a crush on a long time ago by the name of Kamiya when I was a kid, but I always loved that name. She was airlifted from Advent Health to D-Land, Advent Health, Orlando. Baby Kamiya had injuries and visible trauma that indicated she had been physically abused, according to sheriff's reports. And she died on May the 7th, which was the day after. An autopsy determined that she had hemorrhaging of soft tissue in her legs, back, and backside, which were likely the result of physical abuse. The cause of death, wait for it, was listed as blunt force trauma, and it was ruled a homicide. For the people that are familiar with our channel, what does blunt force trauma mean? Blunt force trauma. We've heard it here, and it is sad that we have heard that so much. Hashtag where's the father? Thank you. Where's the biological father in this situation? We're going to talk about that. Dickerson reported that baby Kamiya was injured while playing on a slide at the playground. This is another case of a mother trying to blame what happened to her daughter on the kid. The mom, Janee Dickson, reported that baby Kamiya was injured while playing on a slide at a playground. I want you guys to take note of what her injuries were. The baby's injuries was that she had hemorrhaging of the soft tissue in her legs, back, and backside. And her death was ruled as blunt force trauma, but her mom is trying to say she died because she played on a slide. Like, in what world do these bitches come up with these insane explanations and think that somebody's going to buy that? Your kid died on a slide? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Upon further investigation, Janee Dickerson's boyfriend, hashtag mom's boyfriend, shout out to momsboyfriend.com. Dickerson's boyfriend by the name of Brandon Williams reported that the mom struck baby Kamiya multiple times to an extent that exceeded parental discipline. So what does that mean? That means the boyfriend told police when he was investigated that he witnessed the mom do this multiple times and that she went above and beyond what will be considered to be standard spanking. She was beating the shit out of this kid, right? Sheriff Mike Chitwood, let me get his face up on the screen because we're going to talk about the sheriff right here. I'm going to tell you guys, I have a big fondness for him, and I'll tell you why when I show you his video. I like him a lot. Here's what he said. Sheriff Mike Chitwood said in a Facebook post, Brandon Williams adamantly denied this and insisted that it was the mother who was responsible. That sheriff said, whoever committed these acts of violence, we know Kamiya suffered a series of beatings beyond anything any parent or any person could ever imagine inflicting upon a child. Janee Dickson described a March 5th, 2018 incident in where Kamiya asked the mom to stop and use the bathroom. How many of you guys have kids? I do. Do you have kids? Anybody out there in the chat, do y'all have kids? Have you ever been driving and your kid says, Mom or Dad, I have to go to the bathroom? That's a pretty standard thing. That's why a lot of parents will usually tell their kids before they go on a trip, use the bathroom before you do what? Before you leave home. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. We're going to get there for sure. They asked to go to the bathroom. That's a pretty standard thing. So the baby asked mom, could she stop and use the bathroom? She said the mom drove to a D-Land area side street. She pulled her 7-year-old daughter out of the car and she beat her daughter for 15 to 20 minutes with a blunt object. I'm going to say that again. How many of you guys have ever been in a fight? How many of you guys have ever spanked your kid? How many of you guys are familiar when you get enraged on the inside and that adrenaline gets to flowing and it seems like time really takes forever, right? I want you guys to imagine how bad this beating was. She didn't beat her for 30 seconds. She did not beat her for 2 minutes. She did not beat her for 5 minutes. It is estimated that she beat this child for 15 to 20 straight minutes with a blunt object. Not even a belt. Just because she said she needed to use the bathroom. Her body needed to reject the liquids that are inside of it. I've been around a lot of women. I'll admit that. How many ladies have ever been somewhere, you've gone to the mall, you've gone somewhere, you've gone on a road trip, like, hey, pull over, I gotta pee. Women's bodies, I'm sorry, I'm familiar with women. I'm raising a little girl. Women's bodies are quite different. Am I lying? When y'all gotta go, you gotta go. It's just Jay lying? It's life. It happens. When you have to go to the bathroom, you gotta go. But instead of this, what was the baby supposed to do? How many times have you heard about these moms, because these kids pee on themselves, they beat them for that also? So let me get this straight for a moment. If you know that you're about to pee on yourself and you tell your mom, hey mom, I gotta pee, your mom is gonna beat your ass. If you try to hold it and you have an accident on yourself, then mom is gonna beat you for that too. What is the other option for a 7-year-old baby? That's a baby to me. What option is the 7-year-old supposed to do? You open your mouth and say you gotta go pee, you get whooped. You get beat. You try to hold it, You pee on yourself, you get beat. Hopefully everybody understands why I get mad and why I talk about these inhumane creatures the way that I do. Why do I disrespect these people? Because I don't give a fuck about criminals. I don't care about them. I'm not going to be nice to them. Look at that mother on the right-hand side. What reason do I have to be nice to her? She looks like a man, does she not? That looks like a dude. If I hadn't have told y'all that was a female, most of y'all would have been like, damn, what did her daddy do to her? Am I lying? Even the name Janee Dickson wouldn't have told you that that was a woman. Right? I heard a donation going off. Thank you very much. I'm going to read those here in just a second. And by the way, I didn't want to ignore yours to the gentleman, or excuse me. We had somebody that donated earlier. I don't see it now. It rolled away. But let me thank real quick. That was, not Green Eyes Reed. It was, I'll thank you here in a minute. Jay, I look forward to your show after a hard day at work. Thank you, Camila Metz. I really appreciate that. I'll get back to the other donation here in a minute. If I hadn't have told y'all that was a female, y'all might have thought that was a dude. Okay? She looks very manly. So I don't understand what this little girl was supposed to do. You pee on yourself, you get beat. You ask to go to the bathroom, you get beat. She got beat for 15 to 20 minutes. Then she said she drove to a bereaved fort cemetery and beat the girl again for another 30 minutes with the same object along with the second object. I know a lot of people might be like, whoa, Jay, whoa, hold on. That's very hard for me to hear. This is why I can't watch your channel, because what you're saying is things that is hard for a human being to stomach and understand what happened to a kid. But I always want to encourage you guys. What we listen to and what you see on my screen is hardly harder than what that 7-year-old baby had to go through at that cemetery that you see on my screen. She got one beating for 15 to 20 minutes. And for the exact same thing, got an entirely different 30-minute beating. And this time, that broad added a second object that she beat the shit out of her with. Detectives used GPS data from the phones of the mom, Dickerson, the boyfriend, Brandon Williams, and the baby, Kamiya, to determine their locations on March the 5th, confirming their travel around the D-Land area on the evening of March the 5th and their eventual arrival at the hospital at 8:44 a.m. on March the 6th. By her own account, the mom, Dickerson, did not call 911 or seek emergency help for baby Kamiya during the beatings or after, even though she noticed Kamiya was having trouble breathing all night long, according to the police. How many stories have we done where these mothers have beat these children up and didn't even call 911? A lot. A whole lot. Dickson, the mom, said in the morning that she noticed Kamiya's body had gone limp. She was cold to the touch. Her head was tilted. Her eyes were open, but were glossed over, and she was unresponsive. Keep in mind, that's the same child that she gave birth to. That's when she decided to take Kamiya to the hospital. After all of that, now you decide to take her to the hospital. I think she might be dead. Maybe she's dead. Okay, I guess we could take her to the hospital. I guess. I mean, is that the proper thing to do? I don't know. When she asked if she thought Kamiya had died before she took her to the hospital, the mom replied, basically, yeah. Those are the court documents for the people that say I don't get my facts together. When the mom was asked if her daughter died before she got her to the hospital, her exact words in quotations were basically, yeah. Seriously. Let me give a shout out real quick to Helen. Said we need to hear stories or we can't help. Thank you so much, Helen. I truly appreciate that. That looks like foreign currency. So if you're watching from another country, thank you so much for your support. The mother, Dickson, said on March the 7th, the boyfriend, Brandon Williams, got rid of the items that were used to beat this baby, including the baby's clothes and personal items. He helped hide the items. So in a situation like that, don't you think not only because the boyfriend witnessed it, he didn't try to stop it, he didn't call 911, and he helped hide the objects that the mom beat the kid with? Is that not something that a man should go to jail over? Any person, but definitely him. How many of y'all think that the boyfriend should go to jail also? Matter of fact, let's go a step deeper. How many of you people believe that the boyfriend should face just as much time in jail as the mom? Let's get deep for a moment. In my opinion, he needs just as much time in jail. A, because he could have physically stopped her. I understand if a woman can't stop a man from beating a kid, but a man can physically stop a woman. B, for watching it and letting it happen. C, not calling the police or 911 to get this baby medical attention, not before, not during, and not after. D, he hid the objects that she beat him with. Ask me, jail time. Can we get a hashtag TTO, hashtag TTT? For the people that are brand new here, do me a favor and click the thumbs up, share the stream, subscribe to the channel. We talk deeply about these things because we care about these children that much. So click that thumbs up if you care about children. Let me ask you guys a question. Do y'all know what hashtag TTO and TTT means? You might be new here. Maybe you don't know what that means. TTO, take the ovaries and take the testicles. Now, why would we say such a heinous thing like that? The reason why we say something like that is because if this mother does not get enough time in jail, she could potentially get out of jail because she's only in her 20s, and she could reproduce and make another kid and put another Kamiya Jean-Baptiste through the exact same thing. And she might be mentally trained to know how to avoid the legal system if she decides to kill her next child. That means she doesn't need to have any reproductive rights in this life. Her reproductive rights should be gone. Hashtag TTO, take her ovaries. She don't need them. She's proven to be irresponsible. TTO, take the testicles. Yes, I said it. The man needs to be snipped also because you witnessed the baby be murdered. You didn't say shit. You didn't try to help her. And I thought these motherfuckers love these black queens, right? Y'all love black queens. Why do you not care about black princesses? Uh-oh. They're going to get me flagged. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That might have got me flagged. Oh, man. Just Jay is asking relevant questions right now. I'm just curious. How can y'all care so much about these black queens, but you don't care about the women that are going to grow into being black queens? A black princess should eventually turn into what? A black queen, right? Based on the pro-black logic. But I'm the self-hater though. I digress. Let's move on with the story. The boyfriend, Brandon Williams, denied all of the mom's allegations because she tried to say that the boyfriend did it. And he maintained that he never hit this baby in any way. The truth is, there are only two people living who know exactly what happened that evening and who did what to that baby. That's what the officer is saying. The boyfriend and the mom know. That little 7-year-old Kamiya will never be able to tell us anything. This investigation into this case will continue and additional charges are possible. I told you guys, I think that they need to cut the nuts off of that boyfriend and throw his ass in jail too. The mother, Dickson, is charged with aggravated manslaughter. Is based on evidence that she contributed to Kamiya's death by neglecting to provide any care to her despite either observing her injuries or causing her injuries. He said, "Today I admit that I am filled with anger on behalf of the innocent child in this photo because she never got a chance to find out what else her life has to offer. I believe in my heart that day was not the first time she was abused. I agree. So I'm not only grieving for the life she lost, but my heart is also broken for the pain, the hopelessness, and despair she must have felt while she was alive." But I want to show you guys what he actually said. Do y'all want to hear what he said? Let's get it in. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, do me a favor, click that thumbs up, guys. We're doing really good on the thumbs up. So as new people come in, just click that thumbs up when you come in. Thank you to everybody that's already done it. Let's get it.
Now at 11, a mom facing charges nearly 2 years after the sudden death of her 7-year-old daughter. This is News 6 at 11. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. Right now, that mom is sitting in a North Carolina jail waiting to be brought back to Volusia County. News 6's Troy Campbell joins us at the Volusia County Sheriff's Office with what the sheriff revealed tonight about the disturbing break in this case, Troy.
Sheriff Chitwood says his detectives have been working for almost 2 years collecting enough evidence to arrest the young girl's mother. He says yesterday a judge signed that warrant, and today officers with the Charlotte Police Department in North Carolina took her into custody.
The only person who can tell us what happened is dead.
Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood announcing the arrest of 26-year-old Janee Dickson on a charge of aggravated manslaughter in connection to the death of her 7-year-old daughter, Kamiya. Chitwood says cell phone GPS evidence shows Dickson and her boyfriend drove to this cemetery in March 2018, where the sheriff says they believe Kamiya was beaten with a fishing rod after the child complained of being in pain and having a hard time breathing. Detectives say Dickson didn't seek medical attention for her daughter until it was too late.
That every time we would question her and then start to push her story and say, well, you know, video doesn't show what you just told. You want to watch the video? Well, I want a lawyer now. And then she fled to North Carolina.
Kamiya died on March 7th after being airlifted to a hospital in Orlando. Chitwood says Dickson first told them the 7-year-old was injured on a slide at a playground, but then changed her story, saying her boyfriend beat her. He denied those allegations. The sheriff says he hopes justice is finally served for Kamiya.
Living in the back of a Kia, you know, and you get beat because you're hungry or you want to go to the bathroom or you're cold in the car.
Did he say what I think he just said? I don't know if you guys heard that, so I'm going to back it up and I'm going to let y'all hear that. It sounds like he said that the mom, the boyfriend, and the 7-year-old girl were living inside the back of a car, and a Kia at that. Did y'all hear that? Yep, and a fishing rod. I heard that too. How many people are close to North Carolina? I see about 3 or 4 people say that y'all are really close to that area. What do y'all think about that? They were living in the back of a car? How do you have 2 grown-ass people plus the man that you had that baby by, and you still live in a car with as much help as they give you in the United States of America, being a mother that gives birth? Are you serious? They give you Section 8 for free. They give you food stamps for free. Some places even give you car vouchers for free. And child support. Just because you had the child. How do you end up with a boyfriend living in a car? Thank you. Let me thank real quick Dina, Judah. We had an awesome conversation on the show last night. She joined the Children First Advocate. Dina, thank you so much for joining that. From my heart to yours. I hope I pronounced your name right also. But she joined the AFC, and I wanted to thank you and take a moment to thank you for that. I don't understand. Let's listen again.
Yeah.
Living in the back of a Kia, you know, and you get beat because you're hungry or you want to go to the bathroom or...
Y'all know how I feel about kids going hungry. I absolutely hate that. The worst type of thing that bothers me is when people cannot eat, especially children. I will go out of my way to make sure that somebody can eat. This baby apparently was hungry and she had to go to the bathroom and she got beat the fuck up for it. They murdered her because she was hungry and had to pee. How does that even make any sense?
He hopes justice is finally served for Kamiya.
Listen again.
Living in the back of a Kia.
Denied those allegations. The sheriff says he hopes justice is finally served for Kamiya.
Living in the back of a Kia, you know, and you get beat because you're hungry or you want to go to the bathroom or you're cold in the car. So the response is you just beat her like that. And
Sheriff Chitwood says that the investigation is not over and more charges are possible. He also says in the coming days, his detectives will travel up to North Carolina and bring Dickson back to Florida. In Volusia County, Troy Campbell getting results.
If y'all live out there in that area, I want y'all to follow that story, okay? Follow that story. Now, I'm going to play here in a moment his interview. I'm not sure which one it is, but I want y'all to hear what that sheriff had to say because he said a mouthful. Let's get it. Next video.
Thank you. Time now is 9:02. Developing this morning, a Volusia County mother accused of killing her own daughter nearly 2 years ago is waiting to be returned to Volusia County. Fox 35's Matt Trezza joining us live outside the jail where she is expected to face a judge. Matt, good morning.
Good morning, Andrea. Deputies getting a cell ready here for 26-year-old Janee Dickson after they say she brutally killed her 7-year-old daughter. She is arrested up in Charlotte. They're going to be sending her back here shortly. Now, the killing happened in DeLand back in March of 2018. Deputies say 7-year-old Kamiya Jean-Baptiste died from blunt force trauma. They say Dickson and her boyfriend Brandon Williams were in a car with Kamiya when the girl was brutally beaten. Dickson and Williams blaming each other for that beating. Either way, the next morning, deputies say Dickson found her daughter cold, limp, and unresponsive. She took her to the hospital where Kamiya was later pronounced dead. Deputies say they asked Dickson if she thought her daughter was dead before she brought her to the hospital. She replied, quote, basically, yeah. Sheriff Mike.
That's the one thing that bothers me. While we got about 335 people, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up. We want to try to get as close to 500 as possible on each show. So click that thumbs up. Thank you to everybody that's already done so. I want y'all to hear this again because I read it and most of y'all didn't hear this part. When she asked her if her daughter was dead, she said, yeah, basically. That's how you respond to your kid being dead? Oh, boy. Woo. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'd be like a fly on shit on this mother. Listen again. Listen again.
And found her daughter cold, limp, and unresponsive. She took her to the hospital where Kamiya was later pronounced dead. Deputies say they asked Dickson if she thought her daughter was dead before she brought her to the hospital. She replied, quote, basically, yeah. Sheriff Mike Chitwood talking about what deputies say happened in the car.
Living in the back of a Kia, you know, and you get beat because you're hungry or you want to go to the bathroom or you're cold in the car. So the response is you just beat her.
Sheriff Mike Chitwood saying on Facebook that, quote, Janee Dickson is not a mother in any sense of the word. She's being charged with aggravated manslaughter. Deputies say this is an open investigation.
He said worse than that. I'm going to get to his interview here in a second. Here's the next video.
Well, Sheriff Mike Chitwood did not hold back his feelings about how he...
Okay, here it is. I want y'all to listen. Listen at what he says because I'm going to play it 2 times so y'all can hear it. Here we go.
Felt about this mother who's now been charged with killing her own daughter. He called her a name that we can't even repeat on TV and then went into graphic detail about what he says that mother did to her daughter.
As long as I've been doing this, it just never ceases to make you sick in the stomach.
Sheriff Mike Chitwood says he's happy 26-year-old Janee Dickson is finally behind bars.
This was your child, and you allowed your child to be beat to death.
Dickson was arrested in North Carolina Friday for the death of her young daughter, Kamiya Jean-Baptiste. The 7-year-old died back in 2018 after deputies say she was beaten to death at a cemetery in DeLand. Deputies say Jean-Baptiste had at the time been living in a car with her mother.
Y'all are saying it's a Kia Rio? That's even smaller. Matter of fact, isn't that like the smallest car that Kia makes? Have y'all ever seen a Kia Rio? I'll show you. Kia Rio. I'm going to show y'all how small this car is. Let's get a side view. And I'm sure it's probably like a 2000. Let's just give her a 2010 model. Let's go 2010. Because assuming they probably don't have a lot of money, right? Let's go with, where is it at? Let's go with this photo. I'm going to show y'all how small this car is. This is what 3 people were living in the back of. Now, this picture is merely an example. I'm not saying this is the exact car. This is assuming that they had enough money to get a 2010. That car is barely big enough for 2 people. Barely. 3 people and all of their belongings and a little girl living in that car? Y'all see that, right? That's just as an example, so that way you can get a mental picture as to how small that car probably is. Let's keep going with the video.
And her mother's boyfriend. For the past 2 years, deputies suspected Dickson and her boyfriend were to blame, but the sheriff says they couldn't quite prove which one did it.
That's the problem is in these cases, the only witness is dead. You have 2 people who are pointing the finger at one another.
The sheriff says GPS signals on their phones and nearby surveillance video finally gave the department enough to charge Dickson. But even with Dickson behind bars, Sheriff Chitwood says he still can't help but think about what this little girl must have endured.
It just breaks your heart to realize the kind of life that little girl had for 7 years and never ever got to grow up to her full potential.
Now, the sheriff says he's still unsure as of right now exactly when Dickson will be brought back to Volusia.
Okay, this must be the video right here. We'll play this one. Let's let you guys hear this one.
Charges almost 2 years after her little girl's death.
It took us 2 years to punch through all the lies.
Why is this video moving so slow?
That 7-year-old little girl died after being flown to a hospital in 2018, and investigators say her injuries showed she'd been seriously abused. Good evening. I'm Martha Sigalski.
And I'm Greg Wormuth. Wait until you hear more from Sheriff Mike Chitwood tonight. Channel 9's Alexa Lorenzo is live in DeLand. And Alexa, detectives say they never believed the story the girl's mom told them about her little girl.
Detectives say the little girl's mom continued lie after lie when being questioned by investigators. She said that she died after an accident here at this playground. Detectives said no way, that was not possible. March 7th, 2018, the day little Kamiya Jean-Baptiste lost her life.
As long as I've been doing this, it just never ceases to make you sick in the stomach.
It's what happened before that day that detectives say ultimately led to her death. The child's mom, Janee Dickson, and her boyfriend, Brandon Williams, say Kamiya got hurt going down this slide, but doctors say that was impossible.
The little girl's injuries were consistent with being beat with a fishing rod and a table leg.
The interview started. Janee said she did.
Okay, so it was a fishing rod and a table leg. Okay. Let's play the game for a moment. You're broke. You're living inside of a Kia Rio car, which is a very small car, the smallest car that Kia makes. Where do you get a fishing rod from? I'm sorry. I don't know too many black women that fish, let alone just randomly get a fishing rod and a table leg. Like the great Kanye West said, how, Sway? How? A table leg and a fishing... Let's play the video.
Does not ever do anything that could cause bruising on Kamiya. Then Janee's story changed. Investigators say she described times her boyfriend beat Kamiya for 20 to 30 minutes.
Every statement that they gave us was a lie upon a lie upon a lie.
But what detectives do know is that Kamiya's mom, Janee, refused to get Kamiya any help.
I think she was a piece of
The report says Kamiya had trouble breathing, her mouth was yellow, and body was limp. Janee said she knew Kamiya was dead, and that's when
Y'all heard him, right? Let's back that up in case you didn't hear it. He's talking about the mom. Listen at this again.
Janee's story changed. Investigators say she described times her boyfriend beat Kamiya for 20 to 30 minutes.
Every statement that they gave us was a lie upon a lie upon a lie.
But what detectives do know is that Kamiya's mom, Janee, refused to get Kamiya any help.
I think she was a piece of
The report says Kamiya
And he did it on live air. Can we get a hashtag? Oh, give me Arsenio Hall. Some of y'all might not be that old. I love it. And that's when I became a fan of that sheriff. He said she's a piece of shit mom. She don't even qualify as a mom. And I 100% agree with him. Listen to him again. Keep it all the way live, all the way 100 on live air, on TV. Local news, which is family-friendly programming, meaning that the FCC is going to fine them for that cuss word that went out live on air. But I love it. Listen again.
Then Janee's story changed. Investigators say she described times her boyfriend beat Kamiya for 20 to 30 minutes.
Every statement that they gave us was a lie upon a lie upon a lie.
But what did
right here, he said, she's a piece of shit. Listen at him.
Detectives do know is that Kamiya's mom, Janee, refused to get Kamiya any help.
I think she was a piece of
The report says Kamiya had trouble breathing.
I'm sorry, I love that.
Janee refused to get Kamiya any help.
I think she was a piece of
The report says Kamiya had trouble breathing. Her mouth was yellow. Kamiya's mom, Janee, refused to get Kamiya any help.
I think she was a piece of
The report's
live on air. Oh, where are the poo emojis at? Y'all got it. We got a special, no, or maybe I took it. Yeah, it's still in there in the AFC podcast. We got an emoji. Put that poo emoji in there.
do know is that Kamiya's mom, Janee, refused to get Kamiya any help.
I think she was a piece of
The report says Kamiya had trouble breathing, her mouth was yellow, and body was limp. Janee said she knew Kamiya was dead, and that's when she and Brandon then decided to take her to the hospital.
Problem is, we'll never know the truth. That's why she's charged with aggravated manslaughter.
Janee moved to North Carolina in April of 2018, and police over there tracked her down and made the arrest.
I hope that the judge, when they sentence her to jail, that every morning she is awoken by somebody coming in with a fishing rod, beating the crap out of her and hitting her with a table leg. And then we'll see where things go from there.
Ooh, did y'all hear that? Wow. Look, I'm going to tell you something. They might give him a slap on the wrist for that. No, I don't think they should. Because I'm going to tell you, I actually inboxed him and I told him, I said, thank you. Thank God. You want to know why I said thank God? Because it seems like somebody's getting the memo. It seems like somebody is just as mad about these children ending up dead over the dumbest fucking reasons ever. When you have every excuse not to kill these kids, including giving up custody to the father. But why won't they do that? What's our hashtag? The AFC Advocates for Children DJ Just J hashtag is called hashtag Babies for Benefits. That's our hashtag. When you post that hashtag, I already told some people, when you post my hashtags, give me credit, because I'm going to say, hey, I saw that, right? What that means is that these mothers will kill their children just to keep the benefits coming. They don't care about these kids. They just want that check that's going to be coming attached to those kids. They want control for whatever reason, but she damn sure don't love her kid, right? But I'm glad that this sheriff stepped up and he was mad the same way that we are. Now, I want to point something else out to the people that say white supremacy. I think that man is an awesome man. Because the second that you niggas get in trouble, who you gonna call? Certainly not fucking Ghostbusters. you're going to call a guy that looks just like that. He's going to show up to your house with a badge and a gun and a taser and handcuffs and have his bulletproof vest on to come break up whatever you niggas are doing to yourselves. Now, why is that not called self-hate? I don't know. Did she not hate herself because she killed something that came out of her body? But will she be called a self-hater? No, just Jay is the self-hater. I hate myself. I hate my mama, apparently. Even though I didn't kill my kid. I'm not beating my kid. I give my kid everything she wants. I'm glad that he cared about this kid. Listen to his passion. I love it.
That's when she and Brandon then decided to take her to the hospital.
Problem is, we'll never know the truth. That's why she's charged with aggravated manslaughter.
Janee moved to
He said, I hope in jail that they do to this mom what this mom did to her kid. Listen at this. I love it.
North Carolina in April of 2018, and police over there tracked her down.
He said what we were all thinking. Listen again.
And made the arrest.
I hope that the judge, when they sentence her to jail, that every morning she is awoken by somebody coming in with a fishing rod, beating the crap out of her and hitting her with a table leg.
Police over there tracked her down and made the arrest.
I hope that the judge, when they sentence her to jail, that every morning she is awoken by somebody coming in with a fishing rod, beating the crap out of her and hitting her with a table leg.
I love it. I love it.
That the judge, when they sentence her to jail, that every morning she is awoken by somebody coming in with a fishing rod, beating the crap out of her and hitting her with a table leg.
I don't even know if, I'm going to be honest, guys, I don't even know if he can legally say what he said, but I still love it.
I hope that the judge, when they sentence her to jail, that every morning she is awoken by somebody coming in with a fishing rod, beating the crap out of her and hitting her with a table leg. And then we'll see where things go from there.
Love it. Love it. I think that might be the end of it.
Again, that was Alexa Lorenzo reporting. Detectives say the boyfriend told him he never touched the child. He said he knew Kamiya's mother beat her, but he didn't want her to get involved in her parenting choices, even as drastic as they may have been. Janee Dickson is in custody in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina tonight. She will be extradited. She'll be sent back to Volusia County to face charges.
All right, let's wrap this up by saying this. First and foremost, that man don't need a slap on the wrist. He don't even need to be charged a fine for saying what he said on live TV. He should actually get a promotion. If there's a next step up from where he is, he needs a promotion. Because I'm going to tell you guys, you need somebody like him to be your mayor. You need somebody like him to be in Congress. Somebody who is going to actually care about these kids. Those are the type of people that you want. And I want you guys to also remember this. That's why it's important to vote at your local elections. We got one coming up out here in Texas. Y'all do too. Vote in your local elections because the people that run your police is your mayor. For those who did not know, y'all worried about who's going to be the president. I'm telling you, you better be worried about who's going to be your alderman, who's going to be your congressman, your representatives, your senator, your mayor. Do your local elections. That should be your primary concern, okay? Now, second thing I want to say, the boyfriend, he is complicit. He saw it and probably he participated in it. Because for some strange reason, it seems like these women can coerce these men into doing dumb shit. A black woman tells a black man to do something, knowing the majority of black men were raised by women and they think like women, they behave like women, and they respect women to the point to where they will give up their lives and do stupid shit just because a woman told them to. Mainly a black woman. And something that I heard Tommy talk about that I thought was so important. The reason why black men don't respect other black men in authority, because they didn't have any authority in their household. Therefore, they don't know how to respect black men. But that's something I told you guys before. If they don't have the example of what they should grow up into being, they don't see that physical representation. I want to be like my dad. So if they don't have that, they don't know what they want to grow up to be. Therefore, they have a lessened value, self-value in themselves. They have lower self-esteem. And if they feel like shit about themselves, then they're going to go out into the world and they're going to treat everybody else like they're not shit because they don't feel like shit themselves. That's where you're getting these killers and thugs and criminals from. They are bred from single parent households. I don't care if you say we're self-haters or whatever. The truth is the truth. Why do you hate facts? If you have a problem, you can know how to fix the problem if you know where the source of your issue is. Remember that, okay? Lastly, let me skip that baby's picture because I don't want to say anything disrespectful with her face on the screen. I promise you guys, when I first saw that picture, I'm like, I'm looking for a woman. I was looking for pictures of a woman, and then I saw that. She looks like she's about a good 50 to 53. 53 years old in the face, but yet she's only 26. I don't know what's wrong with that individual. She damn sure ain't a mom. She didn't behave like a mom. She didn't behave like a citizen. She didn't behave like a human being at all. I'm going to tell you guys, I love watching the Dodo channel. I told somebody about this the other day on YouTube. Shout out to the Dodo. And I watch a lot of crazy stuff. I love animals. The people that go and rescue animals. I've watched animals treat other animals, strange animals. I've watched goats treat pigs like they're brothers and sisters. I've watched freaking alligators treat people like strange animals, like they're friends, like they're buddies. I've watched dogs treat ducks like they're their own kids. Right? My point of bringing up these crazy examples is just to say that you can put animals in a strange environment and even animals don't behave this fucking way. This is subhuman. This is not right. And if y'all believe in a heaven or a hell, then I'm going to guarantee you that that mother got a special place in hell. And for child killers, there's a special place in the devil's lair for your ass. And just like the sheriff said, I hope that everything that she did to that girl gets done to her in prison for the rest of her life in prison. And I hope that they give her life. And I hope that she never gets out. And I hope that they give her the TTO treatment because she don't deserve to reproduce or have another opportunity to be around any more kids. And the boyfriend needs to suffer too. Charge his ass, bring him up on charges, get him off these streets because there's no telling who else he's already hurt. All right? To this little angel right here. To all my pro-blacks, because I know y'all watch sometimes. Guys, get a prayer hands up in the chat, please. To this little girl, I'm going to put some respect on her name. Her name is Kamiya Jean-Baptiste. She was only 7 years old. She cannot speak for herself, nor could she defend herself. She had to go to the bathroom. She got beat for trying to speak for herself. She probably tried to defend herself from her mom because it hurt. She was scared. And she was hungry. And because her mom was bigger than her, she could not defend herself against the tyranny of her two caretakers, one being a person that we have to refer to as her mother, the second person being the boyfriend. He is complicit, he participated, and his ass needs to go too. I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all talk about loving black queens. Well, how am I supposed to respect them if you treat young princesses like shit? Understand that. Put some respect on that baby's name. R.I.P. Kamiya Jean-Baptiste, 7 years old. Young princess, you deserve better, and this world failed you. I can only hope that the God above will forgive us for failing you, whether it be the system, your parents, your father, whatever it is. God rest your soul, sister. This is your boy DJ Just Jay. We're the AFC, where we advocate for children first. From my heart to your heart, from my heart to yours. I love you guys. Prayer hands up. Thank you guys so much for listening to this story, okay? We'll talk to you guys on the next stream. Peace.